For all my people that haven't taken a solo trip in their life, make it a priority now. Like now. I just came back from Arizona, first time going to Arizona. Like, I've never seen nothing like that in my life. Arizona is crazy. I never seen mountains like that growing up, ever. So going there and also enjoying my birthday weekend, that was just, boy, that was an experience. And I went by myself, and a couple of my friends, they started laughing when I told them I went by myself, but to me, I wouldn't have it no other way for this trip. When it comes to traveling, you want to do it with friends because it's gonna make the experience a bit better. But how many times has that group chat failed you? How many times has that plan that's in the group chat that you've been talking about never left that group chat? So I said, you know what, for my birthday weekend, let me just do something for myself. I've never done nothing for myself before. I wanted to be outside, you know, go on hikes, go on trails. I said, let me just do it. Let me just go. The only thing that was holding me back is spending money on the ticket, spending money on Airbnb, spending money on renting a car. I don't like spending money like that. I don't like spending money like that. And that was a lot of money that I spent. But how often does birthday come around? It's once a year. If I get lucky, if I'm blessed enough to see another year. So I said, let me just spend that money. This is the one time where I was in the mindset of the money will come back. So let me just spend that money, enjoy myself for a weekend, and get right back to it. I didn't wait on no one. I just did it myself, booked it ahead of time, and I just let time do its thing. Me personally, I like being by myself, so I didn't have any type of issue going by myself. And when you're by yourself, you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. If I wanted to eat at a certain time, I'm going to eat at that certain time. I'm not waiting on nobody. I don't gotta wait on no one to finish taking a shower. I don't gotta wait on no one to use the nothing. Everything's on me. I like being on my own time. Now, of course, when you're traveling with the group, some sacrifice has to be made, but it's just hard to get so many heads on one page. And if I'm by myself, I can just do whatever I want to do. I like that. I really like that. Also, being by myself and going on these trails, I didn't really think I was gonna run into people, but I ran into a lot of people. For some reason, I thought I was gonna be the only one traveling at that time. I don't know what's going on in this obligata mangaludo. Every time I ran into a group of people though, I had so many conversations with them. I would meet a couple, ask them where they're from, and then we just start talking about something random. This person telling me this their first time hiking, this person from the UK, this person from Boston, this person from Texas, Cali, all over the map. And I just had convos with these people. So it was actually really easy talking to people and getting to know more about people's lives. And me personally, I think I can speak to anyone in the planet, like anyone. It doesn't matter how they look, where they're from. I think I can speak to any single person in this whole planet. So I enjoy being by myself because I know if I run into someone, I'm gonna speak to that person and we just gonna have a good conversation. Now, there were a few times where I was like, dang, what else is there to do? In Sedona, you hike, okay? You're always gonna go get food somewhere, okay? But then after that, I'm just like, what else is there to do? I was kind of a little bored at some points, but that's probably my fault for planning the way I did plan the trip because all I did was stay in Sedona. Maybe if I had stayed like an hour from Phoenix and then an hour from Sedona, I would have had a good balance of nightlife versus hiking, all that stuff. But regardless, the trip was a 10 out of 10. And being alone on top of those mountains that I climbed, like, man, I don't even know how to describe it. It was a good feeling. It felt like I'm sitting on the top of the world. I was really up there. Like I was really high in the sky. It was surreal. Like the views I seen, it was surreal. For people that were born in Arizona, you obviously know what I'm talking about. Or for the people that's even in the West Coast, you obviously know what I'm talking about too. I'm trying to go back. I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to go back. Last year was a really long year for me. A lot of highs, but also a lot of lows, things I've never experienced in my life. So it was just nice to have that feeling of autonomy, just being up there, sitting on those mountains, looking out into the horizon and just reflecting. Honestly, it was a really good feeling. And being on that plane, coming back home to Atlanta, I said, you know what? I gotta take another solo trip. I ain't gonna lie. I might, funny story, boom. As I'm on my way back to Atlanta, it's about an hour or 30 minutes away from me landing. A flight attendant, she come up to me. Well, no, she doesn't come up to me. She's, has a trash can in her bag, trash bag, asking for people trash, right? I'm sipping my water to gulp it down and throw it away. And then she asked me, are you a flight attendant? I said, no. And she was like, really? The flight attendant on this plane told me that you're a flight attendant. I said, no, I'm not a flight attendant. And I think she asked me that because on the same row as me, but on the other side, there was a lady that was also a flight attendant. And they moved me up to this row because it was empty and I was sitting with people and it was kind of smushed, but I didn't know them. So they let me move up to another row. And I said, nah, I'm not a flight attendant. And she was like, oh, he told me you're a flight attendant. I said, no, I'm not a flight attendant. But if you need someone to land the plane, if anything happened, I'll be that guy. Obviously, I'm joking, right? But I feel like if I needed to land a plane, I really do think I can land a plane. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if I need to land that plane, I'm gonna land that plane. You feel me? And she was like, yeah, absolutely not. Like, that's not even gonna happen, right? So then I just start laughing. She just started laughing, whatever. So then I didn't pay no mind to that. She keeps walking, taking people trash, all that stuff. I put my headphones in. I'm chilling. Then she comes back and she's like, what'd she say? I forgot what she said. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, She comes back with a flight attendant that she comes back with a flight attendant that told her that I was a flight attendant. And I was like, nah, I'm not a flight attendant. But then he was like, no, I meant her. She's a flight attendant. And that lady that was sitting across from me, she was actually a flight attendant. And the lady that came up to me had told the actual flight attendant that he had mistaken me for her. It was a little confusing, but at the end of the day, it was just all jokes, right? So then he walks off, and then she keeps talking to me, and I tell her again, listen, if anyone need help landing that plane, I'll land that plane, right? And then we're just joking back and forth. And as she walks off, you're like, oh my gosh, she's so funny. She tapped my shoulder. Then from there, I'm like, hold on. Chill, folks. You gotta chill. Like, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. Chill. Like, chill. So then she goes off again. Then she comes back. And then she asked me what my name is. Because now we're talking again. And I say, my name is Lotanna. She said, Lo what? I said, Lotanna. And she said, I've never heard that name before. I said, I bet you haven't. It's a Nigerian name. And she was like, okay, that's funny because the flight attendant is Ghanaian. I was like, okay, oh yeah, that means we're neighbors. You know, Nigeria, Ghana, neighbors. And so she was like, you speak any languages? I said, yeah, I speak Igbo. And she said, how you spell that? I said, I-G-B-O. She also asked me how I spelled my first and last name. I told her my last name is O-G-B. It got a G and a B. And then I speak Igbo, I-G-B-O. If you see G and B, you know he's probably from Nige town, you feel me? Anyways, so then she calls over the flight attendant again because he's Ghanaian, and then he speaks Tree, and obviously I don't speak that, but I knew about the language because she asked me if I knew the language that he spoke. I said, yeah, I know the Ghanaian language, but I just don't speak it. So then he walks off again doing his job, and then she asked me how old I am. I say I just turned 23, and then she turns around and she's like she mouths the F word. She like cusses like under her breath, and I said, how old are you? She said, I'm 31. She said, I'm 31, all right? She said, I'm 31. I said, hey, look, I've gotten to the age where I realize age don't mean nothing. And I genuinely mean that because at this age, I'm around 23, 22-year-olds that don't know nothing, some bozos. And I'm around some 26, 27-year-olds that still don't know nothing, some bozos. But I can be around an 18, 19, 20-year-old and they know a little bit of stuff. You feel me? Age really don't mean nothing no more in the sense of communicating with people. Age definitely matter when it comes to courting women and men. I'm not doing, that's weird. That's weird, okay? That's weird. You feel me? That's weird. Like I said, she curses under her breath and she says she's 31 and I say age don't mean nothing, right? And then she asked me if I'm single. She asked me if I'm single. I'm like, yeah, I'm single. And she was like, okay, bet, quick, put your number in my phone. So she gives me her phone, I put in my number, right? And then she texts me. You feel me? And then I text her, and then that's when I got off the plane. The plane landed, and I got off the plane, right? And it was just funny because I said, "Whoa, I ain't never been in this situation before." And I really got her number just for the vibes. I ain't gonna lie, like for the plot, for the story. Like she wasn't a bad-looking lady. She wasn't a bad-looking lady, but I really did it for the story. You feel me? Like who get a hit on the plane, especially me. You feel me? I'm just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? But maybe if I wasn't traveling solo, that wouldn't have happened because I wouldn't have gotten moved up. I would have been with my crew. And then we all just would have been together, chilling, sleeping, and whatnot. So maybe if you travel solo, you might get hit on too. But all in all, if you travel solo, you may be a bit uncomfortable, but I think it's good. Comfortability kills growth. How are you gonna grow if you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing all your life? Seriously, how you gonna grow? Get outside, do something that's uncomfortable. That was my first time hiking, being by myself in a new state, uncharted territory. I've never been here before, never tried nothing, don't know about the culture, none of that stuff. But I figured it out for myself, and now I wanna do it again in a whole new state. And then I wanna do it again in a whole new country. Solo traveling, I think it's really good because it's fun. That's number one. Number two, you're gonna learn about yourself. See if you got it, see if you don't got it. But if you don't got it, you're gonna get there. That's if you put yourself out there though. That's my little spiel on solo hiking, plus my little story time. Yeah, I'm gonna be solo hiking again. And that lady, she stays in Arizona. So I might be going to Arizona tomorrow. I'm trolling. But she's a flight attendant. If I can get a free ticket or a discounted ticket, I'm gonna need that. But besides that, God bless to all my people as always. Happy Memorial Day. Shout out to all my vets. Shout out to my big bro. And yeah, enjoy the day.
Hey.